Video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm autistic.
You're autistic, dude?
Yeah.
Damn, I think I might be on the spectrum myself.
Really?
I'm honestly not even joking because I might at least have like some form of Asperger's.
So what is Asperger's? What are the levels of autism though? Asperger's is like a very low level of autism or what?
Oh man, I am not the right person to ask. I should know more about this considering I did 2 years at psych major, and I've had autistic friends growing up. I mean, it's all a spectrum, of course. I think there's different types of Asperger's too, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know.
If you have just like a sprinkle of autism though, like like Elon Musk though and all them,
Yeah.
they're autistic. Zuckerberg, I don't know if he's weird or if he's autistic.
Well, a lot of people that
But
are autistic, you can't even like tell sometimes. Like Elon, you wouldn't be able to tell right away.
no, yeah, he's
He's like
totally
he's
normal.
high functioning.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with like there's a lot of different types of autism and
Yeah, if you have really bad autism, it's like you're super concentrated on one thing all the time. Like some people are like it's really random shit like dinosaurs. But like Elon Musk, like he just gets super into like whatever he finds interesting.
yeah, there's some social aspect to it as well,
Yeah.
like how well you make eye contact and communicate
And you can't read other people
yeah,
because
pick
you
up on
can't
others'
tell emotions. Yeah. That's one thing I'm bad at too. I think I can't I don't know. I'm bad with emotions.
Uh, I'm emotionally intelligent, and I don't know for sure if I get hyper fixated on stuff. I don't
What do you
know.
think what makes you autistic though? Why do you say that you think that you are then? Or you're on the spectrum?
I don't know. People always joke that I am. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just weird. I just like fucking ask people random questions all day. But I think that's more of like me trying to get to know people and just being silly. I'm just very random.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a silly guy. I don't know. If I get into something, like, I have to go into it all the fucking way. Like, I'm going to go as far as I can into this as I can.
I can't hardly focus on any one thing. I probably am closer to some form of like
ADHD,
ADHD. Yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Man,
We're self-diagnosing ourselves.
psychoanalyzing ourselves. I'm
Yeah.
psychothymic.
What
I've
does
been
that
tested for ADHD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I could have that as well, but I have been re-diagnosed as cyclothymic a couple years ago, which
What
is
does
like
that mean?
it's very similar to bipolar disorder. So like, I don't have as crazy highs and lows as bipolar people do, like to where I'm like ruining my life financially or having extreme outbursts where I need to be institutionalized or fighting people, but like they're more frequent. So like there's like I think there's three different types of bipolar, and depending on what kind you have, like your depression and manic episodes last longer. But like my highs and lows are more frequent, but they're just not as extreme. That's interesting. So like I kind of emotionally am very hot and cold. I'm all over the place. Like I can start off having a good day, and by the end of the day, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I just don't act out as bad as people with more extreme mood disorders do. Like I'm not fucking breaking stuff or having crazy delusions and writing weird stuff online and posting it. Like
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit emotionally tumultuous, I guess. Like I'm kind of all over the place a little bit.
People that have bipolar disease are usually drug addicts.
I do suffer with substance abuse pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, our uncle does too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to put his stuff out there. But
Oh yeah, I mean I'm sure he doesn't
actually, he's
care.
pretty open about it. I don't think
He
he
opens
cares.
Oxford houses and stuff.
Yeah, it is Oxford
Posts
stuff.
about it online.
But I think it's like self-diagnosing though when you're doing like substance abuse though too. And I thought I was bipolar for a while because all the drugs abuse after everything, but
Yeah.
I don't know what I am. This is all me just self-diagnosing myself too and saying random shit. But
I don't know, do you want to go back to therapy or you don't think you need it? I mean, you seem fairly well put together right now.
I want to go to therapy just so I can learn about myself better. I want to do like self-help books and learn about myself.
I'd be careful with self-help books because they all can kind of try to give you some sort of different narrative of yourself. I mean, it's even like similar to astrology. I feel like too much of anything can be bad, you know? I mean, you might have some sort of like insights, but you definitely don't want to put yourself into a box because a book told you to, you know?
Oh yeah, I don't go every.
Some character traits are good, you know? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to try to change too much of your character.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to realize that too. Like everything, you're not gonna get everything from just one book. Some of the stuff you're probably not gonna agree with, or it's not good for you. But like, take what you can from it.
Yeah, that's why it's good to read a variety or educate yourself from a variety of different sources and kind of test things, see what works. And, you know, like I've come to realize like some of your biggest character flaws are also your biggest character strengths. And you just got to recognize your limitations and not overdo it, you know?
Yeah.
And just recognize how sometimes you can abuse certain parts of yourself and just do your best not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really want to do Jordan Peterson's self-authoring program, but I heard it takes a super long time, and I'm not a focused person. Obviously, I have a mood disorder, so like, it's hard, and I might have ADHD, so I'm like, oh, get me to sit down and do the same thing for more than 15 minutes is almost impossible.
I'll just listen to this podcast with someone else. Andrew Huberman did a podcast with him. Lane Peterson, I think his name. Could be wrong, but he wrote a book about understanding yourself and humans, and just from watching the podcast, it helped me understand myself a lot better. Like, he understands psychology so well. It made me understand that, like, I think a lot with words, and I'll literally have a conversation with myself back and forth, but not everybody does that. Some people think like with images, or just like, I don't know, don't really have conversations with themselves. They're just thinking. Maybe they do think verbally. But I will talk to myself in my head, like back and forth, like trying to figure out like a problem or solution.
I think I do that too to some extent.
Uh-huh.
I always recognize, like I'm starting to recognize more as I get older, like it takes time, especially when it comes to like emotionally related conflicts, to like form an opinion. It can take me as long as like a couple days to a week after the fact to like kind of reflect and form a good opinion on whether or not my actions were appropriate and the other person's actions were appropriate. Like I have to flesh out everything and try to have an unbiased emotional lens. But interestingly enough, I was watching a podcast a couple weeks ago. I can't remember the dude's name off the top of my head, but he basically said no matter what, all decision making is emotionally based.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I thought was interesting, because like the part of our brain, I can't remember exactly the exact part of our brain. I'm not super good with anatomy, but the part of our brain that has to do with decision making also has to do with emotions.
That's our prefrontal cortex.
So like
that's a very front part of your brain.
Yeah, so we wouldn't even be able to make decisions without that part of our brain. So like they're going to be emotionally made decisions no matter what.
And that's not even fully developed until you're 25, I think the age is.
Yeah.
And if you're doing drugs and other stuff, especially drinking a lot of alcohol, it could never develop. And Madeline said this about me. She realized that I'm a planner to the extent, but I only plan about the right now. Like, I'm planning off of stuff that's like day-to-day stuff. I'm not planning like weeks ahead of stuff. I mean, I have my goals long term.
Yeah.
But like, I can only think about, okay, what do I have to get done today? So I don't think mine is honestly that developed, and it could be from drug abuse. And I am 23, so do you think yours is better or?
I've definitely made a lot of progress since I was young. But sometimes I do feel a little bit developmentally behind, at least compared to some of my peers. Like, I think intellectually, in a lot of ways,
You're a very smart
I
compared
can
to
keep
a lot
up
of your
with.
peers.
I can keep up with the best of them intellectually, especially when it comes to like introspective, emotional intelligence stuff. I'd say I would think I have a high level of emotional intelligence, or at least I would hope so, considering I've been going to therapy consistently since I was 16, you know.
Yeah, you're in tune with your body. I like that.
But there's like a lot of
At
like
least mentally.
I don't have a lot of other forms of intelligence. Like one, because I'm afraid of failure, so I never like have tried to develop other forms of intelligence. And two, like I don't know, like I just
What scares you about failure? You're scared of what people are going to think though about you, or is it like you feel
uh
like you didn't accomplish
maybe a little bit of
enough? Or
both. I mean, I think like I'm afraid to like let myself down. Because I'm like, oh well, I'm already comfortable in this way, you know, because it hurts to get things taken away from you, or to like get teased with the idea of maybe being better, and then you recognize you're not good enough, and then you're like, oh, you fucking idiot, you knew you weren't good enough to do that in the first place, so why'd you try? And then some of it has to do with other people's opinions. I think as I get older, I'm less concerned about other people's opinions, but I'm
I
still.
think that can be good that you're being hard on yourself though, like you said. Like
Yeah,
maybe not as hard on yourself. Like don't call yourself a fucking idiot. Like
yeah,
oh, I gotta try harder though and push yourself a bit more.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. Self-talk is hard. I mean, it's something that I've always struggled with, and I'm trying to learn. But I don't know. One day at a time, dude. I keep going to therapy. I keep trying to figure things out. Keep trying to learn my relationship with substance abuse. You know, it's just difficult. It's gonna be a journey, for sure.
yeah, it
But
always is. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't mind failing. I think I learned that from sports and uh, my PE teacher said that in high school. I was never afraid to like fail, like maxing out, or wasn't afraid to go out there and be the first one to do other stuff. I guess in the gym and other things like that. But
I always have been. Fear is like a pretty crippling, overwhelming emotion that takes control in my life. I think it's probably the number one
a lot of humans are
antagonist for me.
yeah. But use that fear. Like I think you can. I think people can use that fear. Like
Yeah.
I have fear too, always. I'm not saying I'm not afraid of what people are gonna think about me, but do it anyways, and that's where confidence comes from too.
It's overwhelming fear though, to where like it makes me afraid. Like you get analysis paralysis. I think we talked about this maybe a couple episodes ago on the podcast, but when we were talking about
And
anxiety,
you just want to shut down.
yeah, because I think anxiety is a derivative of fear. Like those emotions correlate.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, I don't fucking know. I mean, I just keep trying to get better. That's all you can do.
Yeah, as you should, right?
Yeah. We'll see where I'm at in another 5 years. Hopefully I continue to make progress and not move backwards. But I mean, to try to be optimistic, I think overall
I mean,
I'm
some
better
people.
than I was.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Yeah.
You've been the smartest of us kids for a long time. I mean, you went to college. You're the only kid of us that actually graduated college.
Well, I mean,
But
intelligence is subjective. There's so many different types of intelligence. I mean, at least emotionally, yes, maybe. But Isaac and you are so much more business-minded than me. You know what I'm saying?
I think Isaac's better at business than I am
You
too.
guys have
I'm
better
just not afraid
physical
to take the
intelligence
risk.
as well.
Yeah,
Very naturally athletic.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. You're not afraid to take chances at all. I'm very risk adverse.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you need to be able to try and fail to be successful, which is probably why you are more successful, is because you've taken a lot more chances. I kind of do what's comfortable a lot of the time.
But some people will live the same lives over and over for 6 months. Like every 6 months, they're doing the same cycle over
Yeah.
and over again till they die for whatever 40 years or so. And that's so sad.
That's
Like,
why I have Live Deliberately tattooed on my hip, because I don't know, that poem kind of struck a chord with me. Henry David Thoreau is a really cool poet and philosopher, and I'm afraid to live a quiet life of desperation. So I got that tattoo as a reminder, because that's something that I can fall into very easily, and I have time and time again. So like, I need to remind myself, like, hey, dude, take chances, let yourself enjoy things, you know, take risk. Otherwise, I'll live a quiet life of desperation, like 70 to 90% of the rest of human beings, you know. I would like to be exceptional, but If I'm average too, I think that will be fine. I think we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, especially with social media. I think being average isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I am above average in other ways. You know, you just take what you can. I mean,
Yeah, do what God
technically
gave you, you know?
speaking, like life is a everything is on a bell curve. You know, everybody is above or below average in different ways. You just like recognize your strengths and just do your best to play on them, and just be happy that you were given some things that you're exceptional at. You know, you don't have to be amazing at everything.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not good at a lot of things.
Yeah,
I'll still fucking try though.
might as well, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's also important to work on it.
Do you see all the memes with Travis Kelsey and his coach? I guess weren't even really memes. I guess people
Yeah.
are upset with Kelsey though, but I think what people fail to realize though is the Super Bowl. Like that's a lot of pressure. It's an emotional game,
Oh
and
yeah,
he
dude.
was mad that he wasn't in on that play when he fumbled it.
Yeah, dude, football's so emotional. I mean, I can say
Yes.
from experience, like I would almost like get teared up or like angry before games sometimes because like you're going to war with your brothers, dude.
Yeah,
It's a
I think
it's
the Chiefs
battle,
are
dude.
the Chiefs are really hated on right now, and I think it's probably becoming like the Patriots. You know,
It's
they.
because they're exceptional, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody hates
I would hate to be in the spotlight though.
winners.
Like people are calling Travis Kelsey a douchebag and shit, and I'm like, first, just for him like being mad over a game that he's playing, I would have been mad too. Like that's a normal reaction, and people are overplaying it, saying that he's a dickhead and stuff.
Yeah, people are fucking idiots. You know, the Kelsey brothers are dogs, dude. I'm never
They
gonna.
are.
I'm
They're
not gonna.
awesome.
I'm not gonna throw shade on them until I have any real reason to.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're killing it, bro.
Yeah.
I think they're good dudes.
I think they are good people too, and his coach said that too. Like he was like Travis Kelsey keeps me young. He's just trying to keep me on my toes. Like he has a good
Yeah.
relationship with his players, obviously, and you can tell that.
That's why they're so good.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
never
the best.
talked shit on him. He
The
was
best teams always have good relationships with their coaches because you know how are you going to be led if you don't respect your leader?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Post Malone put on a Chiefs jacket too. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I'm pretty surprised that he did that.
I know, dude.
Patrick Mahomes' wife made him though, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, people are kind of talking shit on Patrick Mahomes' wife. I mean, they always are too.
I
I don't
know.
like that either. Like, why are you trying to get in the middle of someone else's relationship and you don't even understand it fully?
No, I don't.
I
know.
didn't even think it was that deep. Everyone's trying to read into it so deep all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just what people do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of football controversy super well because I'm not a huge sports guy, but from what I can understand, yeah, people do not like that lady very well.
No, they don't. They hate her. I
Yeah.
don't get it. I think, like,
She's very outspoken, that's for sure,
yeah.
about a lot of things.
What is she outspoken about?
Oh, from what I've gathered, like,
I've seen, like, people take pictures of her and her faces and reactions and stuff, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
I think
It's
like
not that
certain
big.
referee calls and stuff, she's like, oh, that's bullshit. She's just very outspoken and animated about like other people's judgment during games sometimes, which I mean, to be fair, she's married to an NFL star.
Right.
And if you know anything about football and you love your husband, I'm sure you're going to fucking be emotional,
Yeah,
you know, but
that's true.
yeah. And there's some other controversy too, as far as like some of the things that I think his nephew and like mother-in-law have said on Twitter and stuff, which I don't know. I don't remember any of it very well, so I can't speak on it too much, but yeah, there's definitely been some pretty wild claims made online.
There is, yeah. There's wild claims saying that like Patrick Mahomes is miserable and shit, and he's obviously not miserable. I don't know why people talk out their asses about that shit, but
Well, he can have
It
any
just
woman he
sucks.
wants to. He's a multimillionaire. Like, obviously, he's staying with this lady for a reason. He loves her.
yeah, exactly.
If
Like,
he
they
was
have
that miserable,
kids.
he'd probably take off.
He could have any girl he wanted.
Yeah,
Why would he stay with her?
yeah, exactly. It
Stupid. But Chiefs got the dub. I was hyped about that.
was a pretty fun game to watch.
I know very surface level stuff about football. I mean, to be honest, it's not that interesting, but I have a lot of clients that are interested in it, so I am kind of interested for that reason. You know, it keeps the conversation going.
Dude, I feel like I should be
But
just for social interaction.
right, yeah, there's a lot of
But
people
I
around
just
there.
don't care hardly.
And that's fine. Something you're not interested. Yeah, you don't have
It's
to.
like I don't talk
Right.
about sports or video games, so it makes it so hard for me to have conversations with dudes a lot of the time. Which I
That's
think
all they talk about.
I think that's why,
That's
or
literally all it is.
or
yeah.
even politics sometimes. I think that's why I have so many friends that are chicks. I got girl brain, dude. Because girls don't
think
talk
that's
about
true.
any of that shit.
I don't think that's true. You're an intelligent guy. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, 90% of my
what
conversation.
stuff are you interested in?
Honestly, like, I am into fitness, so that is a dude thing.
Yeah, you're into fitness. Yeah.
Yeah, even though I don't partake in it a lot, but like I do
Mental health.
I love exercise science, mental health. What else? I love comedy.
Yeah, you're. I think you could be a comedian. Honestly, I think you should start doing it around here.
Yeah, I mean those are probably the main three. And then
Politics. I don't think a lot of people are in our age. It's just something I'm interested in.
no, I mean I am superficially interested in politics. Like I think I'm interested in like sociology, like how
How
like
people interact, like as a group.
well, because like politics affects sociology big time.
It does,
Because
yeah.
like woke ideologies and stuff,
Yeah.
and like far right, like that has a huge impact. Like I'm interested in like how that affects cities and human connection.
So Vivek has a book about this with woke people, and
Yeah.
how it came up was. So it's not even like a hidden group trying to do malevolent shit like, oh, we're gonna push these woke ideologies. It's literally coming from businesses and what Hollywood thinks people will like. So they're like, oh, we should push this stuff because other people are gonna like us for that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And that's how all of the woke ideologies get pushed when it's not true.
Well,
and
it's just
all
to push
dumb shit.
propaganda and also
Yeah.
to garner.
They push it though
interest.
because people will like it. It's not because they're pushing propaganda for their own thing. I don't think it's that deep. They're just pushing it because they're like, people are gonna like this.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to emotionally garner interest for their, team, and then they end up doing the complete opposite of what they say they fucking stand for anyways.
Right.
They're just trying to get people emotionally motivated to be on their side. And
That's
then
what Bud Light did.
And
We're
then they
gonna
do,
talk about that with Shane
and then they
Gillis.
do what's in the exact opposite of their best interest.
Yeah.
And then they gaslight them and try to convince them, oh no, we were still on your side.
That's literally what Bud Light did.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that more? You kind of told me a little bit about it, but
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say as far as that goes. I mean, I just think it's hilarious how they fucked up their reputation so bad trying to play on an audience that,
for trans people don't even drink Bud Light, I bet.
which is like, here's the thing, like, yeah,
So it doesn't make any sense. But
like I'm obviously not transphobic. That's a fucking bad thing to start off by saying before I make a claim. It just, it's gonna make me sound transphobic right away. Anyways, their target demographic is like fucking Midwestern blue collar men.
yeah,
A lot of those guys aren't super concerned about trans, or they're low key transphobic. So like for them to put a trans person on their fucking like branding, I mean, what did they think was gonna happen, dude?
yeah. Of course, people are gonna talk shit about it. It didn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
And then I just thought it was funny how Shane Gillis was like, "Fuck that, I don't care," and stood by their side. He's like, "Beer still tastes good," and he's like, "Dude,
Dana White did too.
I'm still a bro. Fuck it."
Yeah.
Dana White and Shane Gillis single-handedly saved Anheuser-Busch, dude.
Yeah, they really did, dude. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And now fucking Shane is like doing endorsement deals with them like a fucking dog, dude. I saw him and Cam Patterson at like
Post Malone does too, I guess.
the Anheuser-Busch brewery,
Uh,
and they were talking about like, damn boys, we had some technical issues. We lost a lot of footage. It's probably about 10, 15 minutes.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a boner.
it's
It's a
alright.
boner killer, dude. That's
Going
okay.
back about, I guess, yeah, we're gonna have to re-talk about some of the stuff to talk about. Going back about the trans stuff, I do think,
We lost some of that footage?
yeah,
Oh,
it
damn.
didn't get me talking about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna play into the pronouns or whatever, and I do think there's only two sexes. That makes me transphobic. Then whatever. I don't. I'm not homophobic. I'm all for freedom. Like, do what you want, but you're just going against basic biology, and I'm not gonna play into that. And I do think it's a mental illness, like you were saying. You're not comfortable in your own body, and I don't think people should be doing to that kids is borderline child abuse. They can't even get a tattoo at that age, so why would you let them be able to change their whole biology that they're going to regret later on in life? And 90% of them commit suicide after they become trans. So
Yeah, it sucks, dude. I mean, and also like we were talking about autism, just like kind of silly at the beginning of the podcast. A lot of people that do that, I mean, are like autistic kids that are having an identity crisis, and they end up trying to do reversal surgery in the future, and then they very seriously regret it. Which
yeah,
now they're starting to finally push some of those narratives in like popular media, but for a while there, like they were totally like hiding the fact that that was even a thing, especially the trans community. Like
yeah.
they weren't pushing that narrative at all, even though it was important.
You're
Like,
making a permanent decision that's
yeah.
going to change your whole anatomy of your body when you should just be comfortable
And a
with
lot of those
yourself.
children regret doing it.
Yeah.
They're like,
And they're 14, and you're allowed to go do that without parental
I was fucking
supervision.
so emotionally all over the place and dumb when I was that age. Like, there's no way you're ready to make good decisions when you're that young.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's stupid as fuck. And then Tucker Carlson and Vladimir, when you were watching it, if you want to talk about that again.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to go into as much detail as I did the last time, just for the sake of my emotional tolerance towards saying the same thing over and over again. But basically, what happened was, from what I did see, at the beginning of the interview, Vladimir Putin thought that it was important to describe why he thought Russia was the rightful heir to Ukraine. And he went into like a 30-minute history lesson, and he explained that to Tucker. And Tucker
They are. Like you said, we antagonized the war, and it was a Banana Republic. Do you want to explain what that is again?
Oh, yeah. Well, shit. This needs to be fact checked 110% because like I could totally be wrong. By the way, my understanding again of politics is so limited, but from what I can
You're doing
understand
great.
or some of
Yeah.
the research that I have done, I could totally be butchering this definition, but I believe like a banana republic is when you kill all your political adversaries, and I think we kind of did that with Ukraine. Like we kind of like killed.
We kill off those people.
We
that get
killed or
Zelensky.
like any of Zelensky's political adversaries just so we could kind of put him into office because we were heavily funding him.
So we can pretty much control.
So we can control the narrative and stuff, and have them in our back pocket.
Yeah, we have a democratic country now right by Russia, and we're just, that's obviously going to stir shit up, which is what we wanted.
I mean, we're on the verge of World War III at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure World War III is already
I don't think it'll be
happened.
from that, though. It's not. It's going to be from the Middle East, and like we were saying, we just pulled out of Afghanistan, the most
not just that,
devastating
dude.
war to pull out of.
Also, China and Taiwan. That's another really, really big thing that hasn't been brought up near as much recently.
What is that?
China has troops in Taiwan. And Taiwan is a very important country because they make a lot of our semiconductors, which has to do with like all the manufacturing of
Oh yeah, we already started that.
our technology.
Yeah, you're right. They did do that. We're not doing business with China anymore. They stopped doing that
Which is
because
gonna
they changed currency.
fuck our economy, dude.
I don't think so. We're gonna do it all in Mexico now. We're gonna do it
I
dirt
hope.
cheap.
I mean,
in
we are
Mexico.
building semiconductor manufacturing factories in the United States now, but those can take years to get off the ground. I mean, our production and our supply chain disruption is going to be fucked. It's
I mean,
definitely
we're
gonna
doing it with India now too. So we're doing. We're not doing deals with China anymore. We're doing deals with India and Mexico, I think. So
Well, what I'm saying is it's going to be detrimental to some extent, at least for a while, and it already has been. I mean, you can look at our economy right now. Like,
yeah, there's
the supply chain disruption is going to have some serious effects for a while.
Yeah, there's been inflation, but on average, most people are happy with what they're making on it income wise too. So as inflation is increasing, also people wages are. So um,
Oh.
it is. There's a 90% study that showed on breaking points that yeah, Americans are worried about inflation, but on average, about like 80 to 90
I mean,
percent of people
I
are
guess it
happy with
depends.
their wages
It
too.
depends on your industry and where you live, dude. Because I can tell you from firsthand experience, anecdotally, as a server, I've made way, way, way less money than I
Yeah,
made
but
last
are
year.
you on the streets?
Am I on the streets? No, but like I have no disposable income hardly, dude. Like I'm telling you, like
A lot of people don't.
for
That's the
real, like
most average
I'm
American.
making like half as much money almost, or like a third less.
Okay, but you're not homeless though. You know, like that's third
That
world
doesn't mean I'm
problems.
satisfied. I mean, there's a
Well, I
huge
guess you're
difference.
part of the 10% then.
I mean, there's a huge difference between being satisfied and like uh,
Yeah.
living. Like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, which some of that could be my own money mismanagement, but yeah, I don't know. At least for the service industry in particular, there's not as much money floating around. That's for sure.
Hmm. On average, though, more people are happy with it. But with the Middle East thing again, we had left billions of dollars of equipment over there: tanks, helicopters, RPGs, assault rifles, and now it's all to their disposal, and they get to use it. And it was very sad. We got to talk about a little bit with Tim Kennedy on the Joe Rogan podcast, where there were moms throwing babies over into barbed wire, and they were on fire, and it was the saddest shit I've ever seen in my life. But these people are literally trying to get onto these planes as ISIS is using guns and flamethrowers, burning them alive.
Which I don't think Landon meant to bring that up randomly. I don't know if he really explained the correlation between how we got from the issues in Russia to the issues in the Middle East. Basically, I think we were talking about like how
Biden, it was how Biden, I guess, and Obama started the problems with Russia, and Biden also pulled out troops in Afghanistan, and now we're putting troops back over there.
yeah, we're just talking about
So,
different issues around the world in general, but
yeah.
yeah, man, the world is a crazy place right now.
It's so weird how the Democrats can say that there's so much about love and peace, but they're supporting someone that will do all this crazy stuff.
Well, I think to some extent they used to kind of be that way for a number of years, but
Yeah, but they're so blind now. Like they don't want to.
well, exactly, yeah, their morals and their beliefs are changing for whatever reason. I don't. I mean,
Even more Democrats are like segregating their own people. Like, didn't we just work past all this, and now you guys want to like
I think a lot of
different races that have their own school now and stuff? Like, I thought we saw past race.
I think they
So
just
it's
saw
weird.
it as like a ploy to. I mean, money corrupts a lot of things. You know, greed can fuck things up, and I think they just like saw that as a opportunity to control us emotionally and manipulate us. You know, all of these supposedly humanitarian related issues as far as like race and gender goes. They
I think they're
manipulated
going
that.
with it so they can get supporters. I don't think they're going with it to be able to control the narrative. I mean, in a way, they are controlling the narrative because they get supporters, but it's not like they have a political agenda to push this stuff out. It's just they're pushing it out so they have supporters, and they're twisting and turning words on
Well, those
other
are one
people.
and the same thing.
Yeah,
But
True.
but yeah, I don't know, and I mean, I think it's been that way for since this country started. You know, I mean, Republican and Democratic beliefs have shifted throughout all of American history. They haven't always had all the same beliefs and ideologies.
yeah.
It just so happens that they kind of have the ones that they have now currently for whatever reason.
But
yeah.
Republicans seem to be way more reasonable than Democrats, and I'm on the spectrum of being more liberal, and I can't even have a conversation with a Democrat about certain political stuff because they get just want to have a screaming match. They
I
can't
would
even have a
agree, yeah.
conversation. And it just happened to where like where is it now? Like why can't you just reasonably talk to someone about politics? Like Cigar and Crystal, I get all of my information from them because they are it's Crystal was the most liberal person I know and Democratic person I know, but she still has common sense enough to be like, okay, yeah. And then so is Cigar, where he's not even like attacking her in any way. He can still have a conversation and be like, okay, that is also right.
Yeah. I would say currently at the moment, people that lean a little bit more conservatively talk about politics more reasonably and less emotionally. Which is a good thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, I don't think it's a bad thing if you stand for either political party. You just have to be a reasonable person. And for whatever reason, people that lean more left are being less reasonable, which I think they've kind of created that culture, you know, like because everything's
Right.
so emotionally charged. Like if you don't have a voice or get emotionally like upset and in people's face about it, then you're not a patriot. It's kind of what they tried to claim, which to some extent I can kind of understand, you know, because we probably should be more outspoken about some of our beliefs and stuff, but that doesn't mean that we have to be get into
Doesn't mean you
shouting
should
matches
push.
and not try to like understand each other and have civil conversations. I mean, you can be passionate about something and still have respect for other people, you know?
Exactly. You shouldn't push your beliefs on someone else. I can
Yeah.
have my beliefs and someone can have theirs. It doesn't mean that you should criticize someone else for their beliefs.
I mean, I
You
think
know,
you can, obviously.
like
I
with
mean,
different. No, I don't think you can't. It can. Why should you? If a Catholic were to like shun person for being gay and stuff, they don't do that. Why do gay people have the right to?
well, criticizing just means you don't agree. Like you can be critical
Yeah,
without
but you're
being
saying you can have a
violent.
screaming match with them and just be in
No,
their
no, no,
face.
no. I'm saying you
Yes.
can be critical without being violent. Because if you don't agree, you're
If
already
you're all
being
about
critical.
peace and love and all that, then why are you screaming in someone's faces and do these violent protests? It
Well,
just
that's what
doesn't
I'm
make
saying. You can
sense.
be critical without being violent. If you disagree, you're already being critical of them, at least intellectually.
And no one's gonna listen to you if you are being violent and screaming.
Yeah.
It's just gonna make them shut down and they're gonna walk away. And then your point wasn't even made across because you don't. You're not right. You're not right if you're just screaming. No one's gonna look at that person and say, "Oh, they're mentally stable. They know what they're talking about."
Yeah, it's hard to take people seriously that are so emotionally charged and loud. They don't seem as intelligent. It's harder to get your points across. You know, even if you are a smart person, and if you're screaming and shouting and putting your hands on people, it doesn't make you look smart. It makes you look animalistic and crazy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're not
It's
as
not.
stable. Doesn't make you look stable.
Yeah,
Is Biden too old to be president? Do you think he will die in office?
I don't know, dude. He's definitely too old. That's for sure. Or at least not super mentally competent.
Trump is 3 years younger than him. Did you know that though?
I mean,
He's
Trump
pretty old
is
too.
arguably too old as well.
Yeah. It just sucks.
Uh,
Those are the two candidates that we have.
well, there's no way that's what America wants is a rematch between those two. First of all, like I think it's kind of bullshit that these are the two candidates that we're left to at the moment.
It is.
I don't even understand how we got to this
Well,
point.
why would the Democrats push Biden? Like they're gonna stay with Biden literally until he dies. I just don't understand why they wouldn't put anyone else in spot. They could have put like Michelle Obama, and Kamala Harris is the worst person to put in president after him. She is just as awkward and weird, and her parents were Marxist. It's
I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
Kamala Harris wouldn't even be president if she ran for president. The only way that she is going to be president if Joe Biden dies in office, and she knows that. So she even said that like
Well, I don't even know
I'm
how Biden garnered enough interest to become president in the first place, given his history in politics.
Yeah, I talked to this Isaac on the last podcast. I guess you weren't there.
Oh, my boss is calling me right now.
All right. So yeah, how Biden got put into office is because he is a deep state product. So he got put into president because he's a product of other government officials that put him there. They wanted him there. So that's initially how he got into office. And Trump isn't that way. He literally just wanted to run for president. Complete opposite.
I could believe that to some extent. I mean,
That is what happened.
I mean, I haven't done
Yeah.
enough research to understand that idea well or say that with confidence, but I mean, based off of what I've seen, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have to end things early, but I have a 12 top and 6 top I need to set up for early at work. Because they're going to be there right at 3, so I kind of got to go get ready now. My boss called me.
That's all right. It was a good podcast. We got into it pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, boys, for watching. Have a good one.